guys, happy Thursday. I wanted to take you through our assignment and notes for today. So when you go to your modules, you are going to go to November 12th, and today we're going to be doing one-step equations. And so I've got a list of the priorities of what we're doing today. So first things first, I want you to complete the 4th slide of your weekly warm-up. And per usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. We also have a Zoom session that is happening today at 11, and I will add that link at the bottom, and I will also have it on our homepage. Number 2, you're going to make a copy of the notes and add it to your math folder. So when you do that, it'll force you to make a copy. I have already done that, so I'm going to use mine that's over here. And there are 3 slides today. The first slide is going to be talking about the rules, and then I've got 2 examples, and then I've got more examples to follow. So when we're solving equations, I have an unknown variable. I don't know what x is, and I have to perform operations in order to solve that. So the first thing first is the goal is to isolate the variable. And that means get it by itself. So I'm going to write myself a little note here. Get variable by itself. That's another term for isolate. And in order to get the variable by itself or isolate it, we're going to use inverse operations. We actually talked about this word last week. This basically just means do the opposite. And so when I have this equation that's over here, I'm going to be doing the opposite of what plus 5 is. And so next thing that I need to write down is what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side. So let's start off with an addition example. X plus 5 equals 12. I am well aware that you guys are probably going to be able to tell me, hey, that's 7. But you need to be able to prove it, because what's going to be happening is we're going to start tying in our integer operations, our positive and negative numbers, and it's not as easy to figure out what the problem is. So we have to get rules and steps established. So the opposite of plus 5 is minus 5. So we're going to write that underneath of it because they will cancel out. And if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to come over here and also write minus 5. So then on the left side, I only have x left. And I do 12 minus 5, and I get 7. And we kind of called that from the beginning. I now have a subtraction problem. I'm going to get rid of minus 4. So the opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. So my 4's are gone, and I have x equals 9 plus 4 is 13. And there we go, we're done. Now we're going to go to this slide 2, and I've actually titled these examples. This is multiplication and this is division. And so when we were in 7th grade math, instead of using an x for multiplication, we mush a number and a letter together. We put them side by side. So this is 5 times x is equal to 30, meaning 5 times what number x is 30. And in order to do that, we're going to take 5 and we're going to divide it by 5. What this does is takes 5 divided by 5 is 1, and I'm left with x alone. And because I did it to the left side, I have to make sure this is a balanced equation. So I come over here and do it to the right side as well. And so x is equal to 30 divided by 5, 6. And we're finished. Division problem. I have a lot of people who struggle with this because it looks confusing. It's a fraction. But we've learned in 7th grade that fractions are things that we can work with. And when we're getting rid of division, the opposite of that is multiplying. Oops. So I'm going to times both sides by 4. And here's why this works. If you look over here, I took 5 divided by 5. See how one is on top of the fraction bar and the other one is on bottom? What happens when I already have one on bottom and I have this one on top? I'm going to move it here for just a second so you can see that. I now have them on top of each other, which essentially cancels out to 1 because 4 over 4 is 1. And because I multiplied over here, I have to multiply here as well. So my 4's are gone, and and I get x equals 6 times 4 is 24. And that is our notes for today. Please make sure you don't forget to click up here in your folder and add that to your math folder, because we can use this as a guide later when we're having a practice and review. On your last slide, we have a matching activity where I have 6 questions for you to solve, and you will drag the appropriate one over. So for this example, to get rid of plus 6, we minus 6, and 14 minus 6 is 8. So you're going to take this quadrilateral and match it. So that is what you're going to do for your notes today. I'm going to go back to your module really quickly and show you what the third item is. I have a Google form, and you are going to include your last name, and there are 10 questions that I want you to practice for review. And if your answer is 1, it'll let you move on. But if you put the wrong answer of 5, it'll tell you that's not it, try again. So you'll have to finish all 10 of these questions and submit them, but you have to have them correct to be able to submit. So please feel free to email me if you have any questions.